And we're away! We're away!
There it is.
Come on, baby.
Now with more power.
Come on, baby.
The 2021 Subaru Crosstrek.
It's only 30 horsepower more, but
30 horsepower and 30 torque.
yeah,
That's
it's
a
not
change.
bad.
That's a worthwhile change.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
Well, here we go. We're in the 2021 Subaru Crosstrek Sport. Brand new, and the biggest change is the engine. It no longer has that really underpowered 152 horsepower engine. It now has a 2.5 liter four-cylinder with 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque, and you can feel it.
It is about
great.
a 30-point increase on both, which is good.
That's good. We've
the
been wanting
2-liter is still available in this car.
Indeed.
And
it's available
in
with the manual.
That is true. You can't get this with the manual, which is a bit of a bummer. However, the standard engine, the 2-liter, gets in the mid-9s for 0 to 60.
Yeah, you
this
need
gets
to
you into the mid-7s. So that's a significant change.
Yeah.
And not that 0 to 60 is the stat that matters, but it's the universal stat. And I'm sorry, but a car that gets almost a 10-second 0 to 60 in the 2020s is shocking. This is the 2021 with the 2.5.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've gotten below 8 now, which is almost like go with the flow of traffic. That's actually worthwhile.
But I have thought long and hard about what this is. What is this car? And who does it appeal to? And I have decided that the Crosstrek is like a low-rise, medium-weight, outdoor running shoe.
Ah, okay.
Think about it.
It's a do-everything, yes.
It does everything. You can drive this to dinner. You can wear your low-rise running shoes.
Why not?
Mountain running shoes to dinner.
Connect the
You
dots.
can.
I like it.
Because when you see people wearing that, you think, oh, they're serious. They're all about outdoors, and this is kind of dressed up. They wear their nice pair of low-rise mountain mid-running trail shoes.
You know, I once knew a person, no kidding, who had his good Crocs. Good Crocs and his,
this is not a
slumming
Croc.
Crocs. This is not a Croc.
This is not that. Have them outdoors. You can drive them to do errands. You can do everything in the daily life, and you can drive to dinner. All those kinds of things. The color and contrasting materials, just like a running shoe, the mountain running shoe.
Good point.
And the contrasting stitching. The shoes have contrasting stitching or contrasting laces. Same thing with this. And by that, I mean versatility. This car, I'm impressed with because of the versatility. And by adding more power, it's made it even more so. The rear seat space is actually good. At least it's good for me to
huge.
sit there.
No. The rear
Sitting
seats
there,
are excellent.
That's
Yes,
great.
Yes.
It's a good size. It's a good price. It's not the tool for the job. It does a lot. And finally, the X mode has a button.
It does.
The big news. You don't have to deal with the screen. You don't have to dig for submenus. It's a button. It's almost like they heard us.
Well, it's a button, as is
It's
the
a
start
button.
stop. That's nice as well.
Yes.
It's also a button.
Finally,
it was
this
not
is what
that
it
way
needed
on the
to
last
be.
Outback we had. So thank God we've got buttons for both of those. And it has a CVT.
It does have a CVT.
Continuously variable transmission.
Yes,
And we said it before.
yes.
I'll cover it very quickly in highlight form right now.
Okay.
We don't like CVTs. This is a classic CVT. We don't like it as a CVT. However, Subaru does the best job of when you put it in manual, the transmission listening to you when you pull a paddle to tell it a ratio.
It does.
has 8 ratios masquerading as gears. This is the best interaction of any automaker that offers a CVT. We still hate CVTs.
Yes,
But if you're going to get
absolutely.
one, you put this in manual mode. Subaru does it the best.
Yep, that base engine can still be had with a manual transmission, but you'll be wailing on the engine just to get any power out of it.
Yes.
So, funny enough, the better buy is this Sport Crosstrek. I like the trim, I like the materials, I do like the contrasting stitching, I like the contrasting materials on the steering wheel. There's just a little bit, and you know what, it doesn't need to be much more than that.
Yeah.
But as much as I don't like CVTs, this is the one to get because this is the one you can get power. You can't get this new engine with the manual transmission, and I want more power. I do believe that on the Sport and limited editions of this car, which come with the newfound engine, the 2.5 liter engine, it should have been a 2-liter turbo. Because imagine this car being woken up with a turbo, light pressure, say 220, 230 horsepower.
Sure.
That would truly make it really enjoyable, really engaging, and it would push it over the edge into now we found something.
I agree with you. It'd be interesting to break 200 of both numbers on this because it would turn it into kind of like
the light
the
pressure
off-road hot hatch, maybe?
Can you imagine a Crosstrek turbo? The end. It would sell itself. These already kind of do. But it would sell itself.
They're selling just fine without that.
They
but
are.
I take your point.
I get that. That's what I'm thinking about for this car. But otherwise, the suspension has been retuned.
Okay.
Coils and dampers, it's designed to be more engaging and precise. Now, it still feels as if I turn and then things catch up. It's sort of like a bit of a disconnect between the scenery and what I'm doing
There's
here.
an upload delay.
There really is. I remember disliking the Crosstrek that we drove when we compared them in Colorado. And we had it against the CX-5
See,
and
I
the
like
new
that
Cherokee.
in that group, except for the fact it was woefully underpowered.
It was
this is at
even
least
more woefully
catching up. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, it does ride better. It does handle better, even though in the spectrum of handling sacrifice,
It's not high.
it's still way over to one side. It's
Yes.
not high. But all these improvements make me think of all the non-sports car Subarus. I think I like this one the best for its versatility.
Yeah.
The trunk space. You fold those seats down back there, there's actually quite a bit of space. Passengers can be happy for a road trip in this.
Yes.
And the good news is, for tall individuals, the front two seats, I think will take you. I think they'll be good.
Agreed, yep.
And they're supportive. They're also covered in this new StarTex material. Woohoo! You can hose it out almost, not quite.
Almost.
It's water resistant. You don't really want to hose it out, but you can wipe them out. New
Don't
materials.
write us when you hose them out and you're frustrated. Don't do that. But it is
Right,
that kind
don't
of
do that.
all-purpose. It'll tolerate any of your outdoor activities.
That's right. So
or
you look
let's
around.
be honest, or you spilling your Starbucks. It'll tolerate that as well.
Yes.
That's really outdoor or spilled your
Again.
coffee, either the above. One of the big things that I do struggle with is this has almost 9 inches of ground clearance, which on one level that contributes to you can do anything you want.
Sure.
But on the other level, this is the poster child for something I don't understand right now in cars.
Okay.
And that is there are a few automakers, this car being one of them from Subaru, that are essentially making really well-sorted hatchbacks that they then just jacked up and said, no, it's an SUV. Because nobody wants hatchbacks because they think wagon, which is ridiculous, but yet everybody wants an SUV. So here we have the compact level of hatchback being sold as an SUV because we jacked it up and gave it ground clearance. For the average person who literally going over the curb at Starbucks is the most they will do off-road. I mean, here in the Rocky Mountain area, yes, you get more than that. I do understand that. But I live in a world where I wonder how all of these would be dynamically if they were hatchbacks instead of SUVs. I think all of them would be more engaging to drive.
They would, and they wouldn't sell as many.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I know they wouldn't
You're
sell as
absolutely
many.
right, they wouldn't, because everybody wants an SUV and everybody thinks hatchbacks are wagons and they don't like wagons. That's exactly what goes on.
True. But I also think that by kind of jacking it up a little bit, the kind of buyer for this isn't going to be somebody that has lifestyle aspirations. The person is already going to be into the canoeing and the off-roading and the light camping and the car camping and the stuff.
Really? You don't think they
And
buy it
this
to do
car,
it?
I don't think so.
Really?
I
Okay.
think they're already into that kind of stuff.
Okay.
They already own canoes and kayaks and beanies and all that stuff.
Is it because they already had a Crosstrek?
They might have already had the prior
had a prior
Crosstrek.
Crosstrek. Now they want more,
They
more power.
upgraded because you
You're
wanted the
watching
stitch.
this because you want more power.
You want this beautiful
and gold
stitching.
stitching.
It kind of matches all that light little bit of fire road trail off-roading that they're going to do. It's not just a look. It's not just designed to give you high ride height, to sell cars.
Well,
it's not disingenuous in that sense.
Well, I think the reason it's not ingenuine is because it's Subaru. Because that's
True,
Subaru's history. I mean, Subaru was selling all-wheel drive cars when nobody was selling all-wheel drive cars, and it looked a little odd. We go back to the 80s, it looked a little odd because they were jacked up a little bit because they had all-wheel drive running gear. So they could be lower now, and they're not, but that plays back into what Subaru is, which is your I can go anywhere, do it all, and that's something they've always done well.
This is what the exterior and interior have been improved upon to continue that perception. So you look at the wheel arches. Instead of just a simple molding now, they've got a little bit more going on. You could say that's busy, but it does fit the perception and what the car can do because of X mode, and it's right here. It's great. It actually responds to the trail conditions now, and it's so easily accessible. The other two things on the steering wheel are the S and I button, and really it's just throttle mapping. So sport and intelligent, you feel better about yourself when you're in intelligent mode.
Of course
and
you
it's
do, yes.
a little bit more gas-saving kind of thing. So the throttle mapping changes. You can actually feel it when you're driving. It's kind of interesting. So you have that control over it. It's not a sports car. It's not designed to be.
No.
But the interior does feel rugged. It has
Absolutely.
nice material breakup, and it
totally.
does feel all these seats. Well, look at the stitching.
We have to be journalists real quick. We have to touch everything.
Touch the
We have to touch
stitching
it all,
everywhere.
Touch the stitching.
That does actually set things apart. And for that reason, I like just subtleness of the sport package. I like what Subaru has done here. And again, of all those cars that are not the sports cars, that are not the BRZ and not the hot STI and that kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Of all of them, I think I like this one the best. It's the most honest about itself.
It is set up to be that off-road, but do everything, as you said. I like the running shoe analogy because I do think that's kind of a cross-trainer almost feel.
You can wear it to dinner. The only thing it doesn't do is speed. Same
true.
thing with the Crosstrek. It doesn't do the speed thing well. If only we had the turbo, then we could do the speed thing. It would be like a fast running shoe for mountains or something. Don't know.
I need to drive this. Did you see?
Huh? What? Crosstrek. Stitched.
Very important to me that you saw the yellow stitching on the seats because that is the culmination of the yellow hint around the cabin.
Yeah.
And then it explodes in yellow seats. You've also got yellow rings around the gauges.
Yeah, see?
It's
so exciting. It's
very
everywhere.
subtle. I don't know how exciting it is. It's there. It's an offset. I don't know. Exciting might be a bridge too far, but it is there. Hey, a Saab 92X.
Oh, yeah.
Just real quickly, we're going to go over, we're going to look at the Saab 92X.
Yeah,
It's not an Aero, it's a standard.
Saab does the Subaru Crosstrek is what that
Got some
is.
rust problems there around the wheel wells. I was starting to have that on
yeah, you
mine.
do.
Okay, there's a little interlude about the Saab 92X. That is...
Oh, the paint's not good.
Neither was mine. That is a Saab Subaru hybrid. Okay, moving on. I'm going to go into S mode. Woohoo! Hey,
You can even...
that was not a throttle change on my
Yeah,
part.
it's
That was throttle change on the car's part.
Yeah.
So okay, so it starts to be a little more. I'm serious now. I'm actually going to manual mode because it's a CVT that listens. I can't tell you how much that helps the usability of the CVT in this car. Oh, CVTs with their droning. And this, look, this four-cylinder sounds no better than the 2-liter did. It is a drony, flat four.
It's actually kind of loud.
It is loud. It's genuinely loud. That is a downside. These are known commodities, so luckily you can work with it. Or look, I can go over into drive mode and I can shut it up and I can turn off the sport mode and I can make it intelligent again. And it gets quieter, but there's wind noise, there's tire noise. This is not a quiet cabin, but it is an all-purpose usable cabin. What it gets me thinking about every time I drive a Crosstrek or even see one, I keep thinking about those lifted hatchbacks. I keep thinking about those cars that I wish were just hatchbacks. And the big one that I think about that is the primary competitor, I think, to this, or alternative, I will say, is the Mazda CX-30.
Glad you brought that up.
Both you and I really, really like.
Yep.
If you want to spend similar money, this one's just under 30 grand. It's pretty well loaded. I mean, plenty of new tech. Subaru's come a long way in tech. That all
Very
the tech
much
you
so.
need, the
Very
Apple
much so.
CarPlay, all of that's in here. It's great.
I think what I like the most about the tech is that none of the features that you need instantly for driving are buried in the tech.
Yes.
There's an X mode button.
Agreed.
There's just simple dials that work for your fan speed and your heat.
As there should be.
Everything about it is just, if you need to drive and quickly make an adjustment, it's elsewhere. It's not buried in the menus, which is great. Everything else is sort of like, okay, let's play around with the menus now, and I don't have to be anywhere. And
Heated seats. I've got auto start, stop, all of that stuff I can kill with a button or turn on with a button, which is helpful. I'm in
first gear.
The second ratio.
Oh, the second ratio. Okay, there you go. Hit it. The benefit to driving like this, though, is it actually provides more driving engagement.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
It's still a CVT, but conversely, it kind of gets you more involved with the car, even though it's a CVT, and that's only a good thing.
It's the only way to engage with the cars, with the S button on and with the shifter in manual and then actually working it. And then, of course, look, you get up to cruise mode and, okay, look, I'll go back down here and I'll go to intelligent and I'll get my gas mileage
Get
back.
all
and,
intelligent.
You know, I'll put my cruise control on, which, of course, it's eyesight, it's smart cruise control, it's all of those things. So if I were to compare this to that Mazda CX-30, which is where my brain still lands.
Yeah.
The Mazda CX-30 is a nicer place to be.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks classier.
Indeed.
Inside and out. And it has a layer of fun to drive that this does not have.
I completely agree. That's more of a lifestyle shoe. This is more of a trail running shoe.
Interesting. You're staying with the shoe analogy.
I'm still in footwear.
I will say this, though. If I was trying to think about hauling people or very much stuff, the CX-30 loses pretty quickly because the back seats on that are really, really tight.
They are.
And as a result, and that's all a result of the styling and the size, the back hatch space is pretty small. This has got a lot of hatch space even with the rear seats up, let alone dropping them down.
Right.
The more I drive this, the more I think this may be the best possible execution and the best definition of when we talk about a car appliance. I normally say that as an insult. Here I don't really mean it as an insult. I think this is the best execution of the appliance concept. You bought a car because you don't want fun, you don't want flash. Or if you do, they're way down the list. What you want is reliability, all-purpose usability, all-wheel drive, space. I want to be able to do anything with one car. In that thinking, which I look at as appliance thinking for your car, this is really hard to beat.
I agree, yes.
It doesn't have fun. There isn't fun here. But I think with the engine...
Open up all the compartments and you still
can't find the fun. You can keep digging, still can't find the fun.
All the doors, all the compartments.
However, I do think now that they've put a larger engine in it, it has become enough. Before it was, this really needs more power.
Okay.
Now it is enough. It's not going to impress you with power. See, that the turbo thing you're talking about might add that layer of fun a little bit.
It might go to fun, and I want it to go to fun.
I know you do.
Let's go to fun.
I think they have nailed enough in the power category with this 2.5-liter engine that has completely settled this car in a category of every box is properly checked for a do-it-all. This is an appliance. This is the definition of an appliance. And I think it's so well done for that. I wouldn't buy it because I want more fun.
Absolutely.
But I drive, especially this sport version with the upgraded engine, and I just understand now why these are ubiquitous, why we see so many around this area. And I just think if you are a first-time driver, you're a teenager first-time driver, great car. If you are a person with a family, small family, you need a small little do-it-all wagon, and you know what, we get some nasty weather here, done. If you are a retired person and you like to get outdoors now and then, perfect. It is amazing the number of kinds of drivers I can think of that would make this car their only car, and it would work very, very well.
See, through this corner is almost fun. I don't really feel fun.
No.
There's almost fun, but we're taking a corner faster than any Crosstrek ever known to man has gone before through this corner.
Yes.
That's exciting, but I wanted to push them further.
Well, because it just feels competent. Instead of fun, it feels competent.
Fair.
It's never going to feel surprising. You're not going to be like, oh, I should be scared. This car shouldn't go that fast. It's fine.
It no longer feels scary.
It's not scary at all. It's very competent.
Yes, it can get out of its own way now. The prior version with that other engine, despite it being a manual, is not the one I'd buy. So there's engagement over here when you put it in manual, which is good. It brings the engagement back, but we're not quite all the way to fun.
No, we're not.
But I'm completely in agreement with you. I say trail running shoe because you can wear those everywhere, all the time.
At this point, you can wear them everywhere.
Unless
you can wear leggings with your trail running shoe. That's the entire world right there.
Exactly.
Both of those are allowed anywhere now. Fancy restaurant or actually at the gym or in the middle of nowhere, leggings and trail running shoes. 20 years ago, don't wear either one. Now bring it. We don't care. It's fine.
Unless you're going to weddings or funerals where you really need a different shoe.
Maybe. Depends on the wedding or the funeral.
Jack of all trades?
Yes.
Almost master of them all?
See, I don't think it's a master of anything. I do think it executes very well anything you need it to do. I don't think it excels. That's why it is a master.
You stir the price into that recipe and
you
think,
okay,
that makes it compelling. Because I know, if you add a turbo, they're going to ask $33,000. And suddenly that's getting a bit too much for my Subaru love, because people are going to want to have these, young families, and then keep it for 16 years, and then give it to your new driver.
I'm going to give you a theoretical.
Boom.
I realize that the BRZ is a rear-wheel drive platform, right? So the transmissions aren't just going to bolt together, but the BRZ transmission, 6-speed manual, is a great one.
Yeah.
What if you could get that manual with that transmission feel, with a turbo motor in this? It would become a genuinely all-purpose hot hatchback with CUV look, which means it would still sell.
And it could still do all the things we're talking about, and it would be fun.
This, honestly, I'm going to come back to it. It is maybe the best execution I've ever driven of an appliance car. I prefer the styling and driving feel of the CX-30.
Totally agree.
But it isn't nearly this usable.
But that's why it's so compelling. That's why they will sell so many. And to be honest, that's why you can recommend it. If it's your only car and that does the things that you need it to do, that's why we can say, get a Crosstrek.
We're back and answering the age-old question in the Subaru of will it drift? Let's see.
Okay, traction control firmly off. Manual mode. First gear. We're in first gear. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. Come on. Oh, good. Stick it. Okay. Well, see, the problem here is we've got a little bit of dry pavement. Come on. Fully floorboarded in first gear. There we go, there we go, there we go. Come on, come on, sideways. There we go. A little bit, she'll drift a little bit.
It'll drift. Doesn't really like it, but it'll do it. I'm not sure, but I think I may have done all of that with the key in your pocket.
Sorry.
It will drift with the key in someone else's pocket.